أرسلنا موسى بآياتنا أن أخرج قومك الظلمات إلى النور وذكرهم بأيام الله إن في ذلك الآيات لكل صبار شكور. And we sent Moses with our signs and the command, bring out the people from the depths of darkness into light and teach them to remember the days of Allah. Verily in this there are signs for such as are firmly patient, constant, grateful, and appreciative. It goes on to say, remember Moses said to his people, call to mind the favors of Allah to you when he delivered you from the people of Pharaoh. They set you hard tasks and punishments, slaughtered your sons, and let your women folk live. Therein was a tremendous trial from your Lord. And remember your Lord calls to be declared publicly. If you are grateful, I will add more favors unto you. But if you show ingratitude, truly my punishment is terrible indeed. And Moses said, if you show ingratitude, you and all on earth together, yet is Allah free of all wants, worthy of all praise. In its original meaning, Ayom Allah means the days of Allah. So it's telling the Yahud, remember those special days in history, crossing the Red Sea, the Passover. You know, these are days that the Yahud especially remember. But this ayat is specific to Yahud, but general for people also. And that's why it says, and we sent Moses with our signs. So a sign is for, it could be who it's designated for. A sign to the believers. A sign for those who have faith. A sign for those who have no faith. Right? It could be, it's a sign. And the sign is designated for certain people. Those who are soft-hearted, those who lean toward Allah, those who are kind to people and what have you. Now, Allah sent Moses with our signs and the command, bring out the people from the depths of darkness into the light. Bring them out of darkness where they can't see into the light where you can see, where everything is at, right? In the darkness, you got to feel around. You don't know where things are. So in the light, there it is. That's a chair, that's a window, that's all that stuff. And remember the days of Allah, Ayom Allah. Those are those special red letter days. And it could be holidays, you know, for the Yahud. It could be the 4th of July for Americans. It's not the days of Allah, but it's holidays. Verily in this there are signs for such as are firmly patient, constant, grateful, and appreciative. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the days of Allah, but I'm going to talk about it in our terms. There's something that we refer to as strategic brilliance. Strategic brilliance is something that we're calling a gift to the Negro. that if he carries himself correctly, if he praises Allah and if he walks in the path of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he might be given, well, it's not he might, he's already given hidayah, guidance by the Quran. He's given the Sunnah from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, things he said, things he did, the things he allowed to happen in front of him, and he either commented on or he didn't comment on. So if he didn't forbid a thing, then you could imagine it was semi all right to do. Or he would say, don't do that. And then there are things, Quran tells us, travel in the earth and see what was the end of those before you. Travel in the earth that you learn wisdom. Travel in the earth. We always said that we would hope that every child upon high school graduation would have the opportunity to travel in the earth. Traveling is a super education. When I was in America, the day I went to Algeria, I realized that I'm not weighed in pounds anymore, I'm weighed in kilos. That I'm not 6'2" tall, I'm 1 point something other metros, meters. So I'm not going to go 100 miles, I'm going to be going 62 point miles because they're using kilometers, right? So those are different measures, right? And you learn that right away. You begin, those things that you're dealing with all the time, you almost have to learn right away. They're common references. Strategic brilliance, strategic imagination. Strategic imagination is the ability to imagine things in a strategic way, in an organized way, with historical patterns, technically of behavior, incorporated into that strategy. The things are not just happening, they're happening with certain patterns in mind. Then you remember the Quran, then you remember the Sunnah. Then you remember by traveling in the earth and seeing what was the end of everybody. History. Then there are things that may apply to us or America as a region, right? So we have to filter the things that we do, or we should. We should filter them through the Quran, through the Sunnah, through traveling the earth, through this history, right? And then filtering it through our own experience. What has been our experience with this? But it has to be a real experience. It can't be made up. Well, we black people, therefore we got to do this here. No. Strategic location. Where you're located and how you locate things is going to have a lot to do with the success or failure of your endeavor. So if you're selling, right, what do they say? What's important about selling? Location, location, location. Right? Is that right, Brother Ayub? Location, that's the whole thing. Where you are, if everybody's coming out of the big ball game, whatever it is, and they coming out that thing, if you can get hooked up there, you're all right. If you can get hooked up where they're going in, if you can get hooked up by the doors they're coming out of, where they go eat, right? All of those things. And if you can get all of it hooked up in one, you're in good shape because you got people coming by you all the time and they're going to stop and they're going to check you out. So business is how much rent you're going to pay depends on location. How your neighbors or depend on your location. You move over here, there's a lot of white folks and everything. You move over here, there's a lot of Negroes. You move right in the middle, there's Mexicans, and Latinos, and Irish, everybody just blended in together. And you have to judge you're going to get certain things by that location. And your location is going to prepare you, right? Tell the truth. It's going to prepare you for certain things. You can count on certain things just on your location. When we came out here to the Southeast, didn't nobody want to come out? I asked the question, where is it in D.C. that don't nobody want to go? As soon as I got here, they said Southeast. I said, that's where we're going. Why? Property is going to be cheaper. You're going to have the ability to expand, right? Because nobody wants to go there, so they're selling out and moving to Gaithersburg or wherever. They don't want to be here. That's not now. That's 30 years ago, right? That's why we got everything for free almost. We're paying for it in taxes, but that's all right. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Okay, so imagination and strategic location. Strategic delay has to do with history and timing. Delay, strategic delay, not just, I don't want to do nothing. No, I'm not just, I'm lazy. No. Strategic delay. They used to say in one battle strategy, don't attack until the third blowing of the horn. What that means, everybody's all juiced up and ready to go. And the other team blow their horn and you backing up and taking it easy. That means it's not attack time. They're not going to, I ain't ready. They got all juiced up. And they had all of their energy ready to focus on you. I mean, they're ready. They energized, they're ready to go. Boy, look at here. If you fight them then, they're going to use all kind of moves. They might just overrun you because they focused. They didn't built up right? They got all that energy built up. Then you let it dissipate. So, I'm not going to fight right now. I don't feel like it. So it's a letdown, right? It's a letdown. And then, the second go round. Now, they done built up they just, man, this show is cold. I'm just, man. But they muster up some strength to get that focus again. You don't fight then. Now they're just discombobulated, self-discombobulated. So when do you attack? At the third blowing of the horn. Not the first and not even the second. You see what I mean? When you get ready, there are some things that happen automatically. And in battle, all those charges you see, it's a dummy that gets his crew out there and everybody ready, charge, and they be just, I said, man, that's cold-blooded there. They cutting off arms and heads and all kind of stuff. They just souped up. Why would you want to fight somebody then? When he's focused, that means one of the main things about struggle is you set the environment. You want as much available time and energy to set up the battle where you want it, how you want it to go, whether the sun is in their eyes, right? Whether you're on the hill right? You got the momentum going down. All of those things have to do with battles. So, strategic location and strategic delay. I want to talk for a second about system domestication. And all of this will mean something when we system domestication. You domesticate an animal, you domesticate a horse, you domesticate all that. Why can't you domesticate a system? Why can't you train the system and get the milk the system? They say that all the time. No, something like that, right? Milk it, domesticate it, use it for you, use it for your people. Domesticate the system. All of these things like imagination, location, delay, that mean that has a lot to do with timing. There's certain things that are happening right now, right this minute. Boss man just picked up and run out of Afghanistan. Picked up and ran off. But now, why did he run off? All recently, he's been having meetings in Arab countries, but he haven't been having meetings with his allies in Afghanistan. He's been having with Taliban only. Why? What's going on? Is it possible that boss man made a deal with Taliban and he double-crossed the people? Of course it, well, I'm saying not of course. But that's what it looks like. Why would he leave Bagram Air Force Base, that big whole complex? Why would he pick up and just run off and leave? I'm gone, see y'all. And don't even tell them I'm going from Bagram, right? You can come in and take over. Y'all going to steal all the stuff? Everything that was at Bagram Air Force Base is now in them long tables. Like if you was there, you'd have a table with U.S. equipment, right? Of course you would, because they left it there. And it's good stuff. So you want radios, bullets, whatever you need, all that, here they are. He left them for everybody else. People not used to boss, they trust him too. They trust, oh my goodness, they trust him. He double crosses people all day, every day. He always have. As long as he's doing it, he almost has to. I'm not saying he's the devil or he's bad. Now, quantum leap or quantum jumping. Well, I'll go back for a minute for domesticated. Domesticate means you can train the system by repetitive behavior. You can train the system by repetitive behavior. We'll go so far as to say we have trained the system. Yeah, we've trained them. We've domesticated the system. That don't mean you get 100% what you need. He may be partially trained, partially domesticated. But it's better than what they've been doing us. They done had us so fearful and scared that we won't do nothing. Boss man, I ain't gonna do that. The toughest Negroes in the world. When you bring up boss man, no man, I ain't gonna do that. Okay, we have attitude that I'm not gonna do nothing. That's with other Negroes, but not with boss man. Yeah, we not gonna do that with Negroes, but we're gonna do it with boss man. Okay. I'll move past quantum leap. But quantum leap is like right now, we're going into our next stage. We're going into it good. Like, for instance, some of the things that we'll do in that stage, like we'll turn 4481, not into a place to live, not into all that, but office space. Because our movement is going to need that. It don't need it now. Here we sit right now, right? But we have to think ahead. Where are we going? That means if you got enough get up and go, you can design. You have something to do with designing your future. And that means whether they like it or not. So there comes a time when they do stuff, and it tries to slow you down, it might do this. But there's a time, like now, when you're ready to move, and basically there's nothing that he could do. He could shoot you and stuff like that, but other than that, and there's certain things that he won't do because he know the repercussions. He know the growth. He know the development. The system, when I say he, I'm talking about the system. The system also knows what their general options are. They missed a lot of their shots along to they missed them because they didn't expect things to go this far. Out of 10 steps, they expected we're Negroes, we will go no further than step number 3. Because people, they just don't do that. Step number 3, I mean in the success level, in the chain, they just don't do that. So if they have Malcolm X and if they have Dr. King and all of those people, when they look at, okay, we'll let them get organized, then they went to step 2, then they did this, then we got to kill them. We have no other choice. They no longer, they don't sit back and say, oh my God, we got to kill the poor guys. They don't do that. They just say, okay, we'll knock him over. How are we going to do it? Who's going to do it? How are we going to do it? Raise your hand. Right? That's it. Okay. Now, domesticating the system means you know that. Domesticating the system means that you go through all kind of changes and you learn everything. And some of the things you already know. When they had the Negro jump on some of the brothers over here 15, 20 years ago, it was people brought pieces in here ready to go get them niggas. So we're not going to get them niggas. Why? We have 5 daily prayers. Niggas don't pray at all. And all of you gonna be here, come by, we, us, and your wives and children, everybody gonna come strolling through here once or twice a day, right? And they can sit right there on that hill and do anything they want. Plus, we came here to rescue those Negroes. What we analyzed, we didn't say it at first, but that's what we knew, that they started that stuff so we would get diverted from what we're doing. Fight some Negroes. It's all finished. Our whole mission is finished. You come here to rescue Negroes, now you're fighting them. Finished. And they're going to spread the word all over town. Them niggas over there trying to make us do this, trying to make it. And who the Negroes going to believe? They're going to believe them, their cousins. Half of them trying to stay out of jail from an armed robbery and everything, right? Of course they are. They're here from D.C. Anywhere else, it's the same story. The point is this. I'm going to try to speed it up because I swore I was going to keep it to an hour. I just will try. I don't mean I'm going to make it. But eventually we're going to get there. Quantum leap, system domestication. The greatest risk for humanity, for black people especially, on this earth is to leave your life and your future in the hands of others. And what others? Who's running things? Can you imagine? It's not that boss man always double crosses you, but that's the way the numbers look, right? Because something gonna come up. He gonna send somebody in to make a treaty with you, and all is fine, a nice man. Then the Washington gonna say, "Well, we can't make the treaty with those is Indians, and we can't do that. We're gonna make some schools over and bury them all in the backyard and teach them English, and make them so they can write. We're gonna do that. But if they discover oil in Oklahoma, well, we'll be down there in a hurry, and we'll even have white men marrying squaws and what have you, so they can. It's just what stuff they do, right? It's not that he can help doing, but if he's not divinely guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is encouraged by the shaitan. And people don't talk like that no more. The devil did that made us do that, man. Why you do that, man? It was a devil. They don't talk like that no more. Why you would be crazy if you was on a TV show and they say, well, Mrs. Smith, well, why did you do such and such thing? Suppose you said, if you said why, or a conglomeration of circumstantial events caused me to act and it turned out to be an error. But if you say, the devil made me do that and it was wrong. You can't come on this show no more. What do you mean the devil? You mean the little guy with a pitchfork downstairs, something like that? They'll make fun of him, right? Tell the truth. Not the shaitan, your internal self, right? Your nafs. He ain't going to do that. Anyway, we talked about some of this before. Historical tractor beam. This is where confidence come in. All this stuff may sound crazy, but you know how long we've been talking it? Ever since I've been here, right? The same stuff. The same stuff over and over and over again, right? So our historical record is shining like gold. I mean, it's a record. We done built up a record here. And it haven't been against this or that. It's been about boss man directly. And boss man and sent everybody by here. The little black Negroes, they go over to Somalia. The other little black Negroes, I'm not saying they're little black Negroes, but they actually, some of them were black. I mean, darker than me. That didn't mean they was bad. That just mean that they were, maybe some of them had been in the military, like some people had, and they were part of the intelligence, naval intelligence, like some people was on naval intelligence. Well, I'll be dog. You mean you get, after you're in naval intelligence, they let you out and you run around and just go get a job over bowling? Absolutely not. Once in, you're always in because you done found out some things. Right? So they roll in here. Oh, what was your last? Oh, I was in naval intelligence. Well, I'll be doggone. That's just like Ali. That was his name. The guy that did videos in the embassies. Yeah, everywhere I go, I'm in South Africa. You know what there he is. Yeah, that's my job that I work at. Your name is Ali, and they let you work in all the embassies all over the world, and you set up video equipment? Well, I'll be doggone. And you're a Salafi too. And you're always running your mouth about Imam Musa. I'm sorry, dear believers, I done kind of drifted off again. So my apology precedes me. But Visioneering, like engineering, your vision, your picture of the future has something to do with engineering or developing your future. That's where we are right now. We've been passing through several phases. We've been cruising for the last several years. But we're technically out of that. Now we're moving wherever we're going. We have some pictures of what it's going to look like. Now, will it turn out exactly like we want? Will it turn out better than what we want? Or will we get partial? We know that if you have a picture of where you want to go, you got a better chance of getting there, right? If you got a spot on the map you're trying to get to, right, and you got a course mapped out, right, you got a better chance of getting there than just jumping out and hitting the road. Boss man, let's call it a historical tractor beam. Y'all watch Star Trek, tractor beam. Didn't get the thing. It's a tractor beam. That's what stuff white folks say. But Negroes have a tractor beam too, their behavior. Repetitive, poor behavior. Unwillingness to learn or unwillingness to implement what they have learned. Right? Technically turns into a tractor beam because it keeps pulling them back to that same old behavior that they've been had year in and year out. Okay. Off the world, a visible alternative. Shape our picture of an ideal future. Muslims of the USA, you want to be, what is this? I don't know, loud. An exception by America. Okay. Help them self-image. Yeah, we're passing it. Design our own future. Necessary. Design our own future. Okay, this is something that's common nowadays. People in the pyramids, they used to have pictures of like a pharaoh when he's born. He marries a beautiful princess. He has he has battles all over the world. And then he dies and goes off to the happy hunting ground, wherever they go. And a lot of people thought that they drew those pictures before Pharaoh died, or right when he died. No, they didn't do that then. They drew him when he was born. And Pharaoh could see what his life was going to be like. He's going to become a strong warrior, great leader. He's going to marry a beautiful princess, right? He's going to conquer all of these lands, da-da-da-da-da. He's going to do this, he's going to do that. Then he's going to die, and he's going over there somewhere. They drew those right away, as soon as he was born. They didn't draw him when he died. Most people, for years, they thought when they went in the pyramids, oh, that was so-and-so, he did that. They thought they drew him after. I didn't do that. That means there's the ability to visualize where we want to go, what we want to do when we get there, and all of those things, we've left them to other people. And when we visualize something, we visualize it incomplete. Like we might have visualized ourselves driving a big car, right? Because that's what we wanted. So we did what it takes to get. And having a tender sitting right next to you. But we didn't draw a picture of how we're going to treat her and how we're going to, right? Right here, that was part of it. And if you didn't have that picture, the world associations began to control your behavior. So that beautiful woman that you had sitting right next to you eventually was going to be gone or crazy because you turned crazy. Because you didn't have no picture. You didn't have no reason for getting there. All you wanted was to be there, to drive these big cars. You wanted to look like a senator, but you didn't want to be what a senator, right, do. You wanted to look like success, but you didn't want to do the things that to make you successful. That was visioneering. Design your own future. Give humanity mission, vision. Era of responsibility. Era of responsibility or area of responsibility over freedom. Like right now, everybody, we want freedom, freedom, freedom. Nobody is talking about responsibility though, right? Who wants? You don't hear nobody running out there. Responsibility, we want responsibility, right? Waving flags, right? Right? They want freedom. They want everything else, but they don't want responsibility. Okay. All right. Now, let's get back to our opening. And we sent Moses with our signs and the command, bring out the people from the depths of darkness into light and teach them to remember the days of Allah. Verily, in this there are signs for such as are firmly patient, constant, grateful, and appreciative. As-Sabiqun has something to do with pioneers going out ahead and blazing a trail. Okay. Now, you will have to admit, or maybe not, it's up to each person, how they look at, let's say, our last decades here in Washington, D.C. What have they been like? Okay. So, we say, by our deeds, actions, and writings, we lived up to As-Sabiqun, al-Awwalun. We went out first, right? We figured and discussed what should be done. And now we're going about our business. Because that's what As-Sabiqun do. As-Sabiqun, al-Awwalun, is the first rank. They win the race. They blaze the trail. They go out. It don't say anything about homesteading. That's for people to come later. The trailblazers, their job is to go out and blaze the trail. Not necessarily homestead. The homesteaders, the Negroes and others, they're homesteaders, right? Technically, they're going to enjoy the fruits or the disaster, whichever comes, of your trailblazing. But it's an age of discovery. It's a process of discovery. So we might understand our mission, but the government may not, nor the Negroes that he hired to be around and watch. They may think that our mission is to really build, get everything together and be a good example of something or other, right? That's not what we named ourselves. We named ourselves As-Sabiqun. Sabiqun win the race. They're trailblazers. They go out first. They do the work, and even the Arabic dictionaries say they do the work and they pick up, to give you an idea, they picked up and they done their job and now they gone. Right? It wasn't their job. It wasn't their mission to sit there and homestead, so to speak. So thank God, boss man don't understand that. He don't understand the name As-Sabiqun, but he may be getting the idea now. So he may come out and try to block everything you do. Well, all he's doing is showing what he does. You experience it, you say, good, now that's what you do with boss man, that's what you do, da, 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 da. And then you say, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Kwaheri, tuta, nana, kesho, something, say goodbye. Believers, see you tomorrow or next week or 100 years from now. Because you have shown the way. Sometimes As-Sabiqun, Said Qutb mentions it both ways. Sometimes they are those who show the way. Sometimes they are those who lead the way. So sometimes you're just pointing at this. This is what boss man is. He is. Hey, good. What you doing over there, boss? You're showing the way. Sometimes you're actually blazing a trail, cutting down trees and moving on, building a road. Sometimes. I imagine that it's up to As-Sabiqun under the direction of Allah to assess their environment and have an internal knowledge of which one of those they should do. Whether they're going to show the way or whether they're going to lead the way. Right? Yeah. Okay, anyway. Remember, Quran, Sunnah, history, and our experience. Our policy solves problems. Whatever we do, we've done more good than harm. Think about it. Whatever it is that we have done or are doing, we've done much more good than harm. The other thing is continue to put the whole system on trial. And there's a saying, it might have even been Bill Clinton. He said, just because you are paranoid does not mean that they're not out to get you. You see what? He was actually, I guess, relating to him and his wife. Republicans always. He said, just because you're paranoid, that means sensitive. I use the word sensitive, not paranoid. Because paranoid means that you're looking all around. You're kind of afraid. You're not afraid, but uneasy. I call it with a welcoming spirit, a warm, welcoming spirit. You courage and the spirit of resistance. We'll keep moving. We will continue to use survival enhancing tactics. We'll get to that later. This is just a personal note. I decided to forgive everyone for being themselves. So you forgive Negroes you forgive niggas for being niggas. They can't help it. Basically, you think they can help it. If they Negroes, they don't save money and they don't do, organizational stuff, you think they're happy about it? You think a Negro is happy if he win the lottery and in 3 days he's broke? He's not happy with that, right? Well, he might be, but I don't think so. Okay. Okay. We talked some time ago about the fiqh of clarification. The fiqh of counter-revolutionary warfare. The fiqh of it. There's a lot of fiqh that you don't find in the books. So, if we have the Quran, if we have the Sunnah, if we have history, and we have our experience, right? So our experience said, well, you got to have some fiqh of clarification, fiqh of counterintelligence. You got to have some of that. Well, you don't have to, but it sure would be nice, right? Okay. Preemptive domestication. Feels like in Oakland, stolen ability at sustenance. That's too long a subject, so I'll just. Accelerated decline of America. I'm sure nobody feels that we're not in that period now. The accelerated decline of America. It has speeded up. During the past years, we had contemplation, contemporary times, and patience, and all of that. That's still a part of what we're doing, but we have to make some adjustments to that because things have accelerated. Warnings, plague, potential social disasters. What we're seeing every day, and for California, the fire season is getting ready to get started. Well, technically it's already started. Because now they have one big fire season. Why? Because it don't rain much there anymore. And I'm going on out there. But it ain't like it used to be. So California. So goes California, so goes America. If California 10 years ago became a majority minority state, then the rest of America is headed that way too. So, if you could look states that didn't be like that. Look at a state like Maryland. Maryland has always had Negroes all along the shore, all around, you know. But with all the Negroes moving close by and around D.C. and all that, and moving back and forth, Maryland, except when you get out in the woods, has a Negroid look to it. Maryland. Who ever heard of Maryland? Except people right here. Maybe Virginia. But that's the look. Other states have a different look. You used to never see Colombians, Latinos, and all of that, let's say in Carolina or Mississippi or even Arkansas. You just didn't see them. Now they're everywhere, right? I mean, and not in small numbers, big numbers. Yeah, okay. Character. What is character? How to handle adversity. We introduce ourselves to others via our character. We introduce ourselves to others via our character. How we handle adversity. How we channel paranoia, directed paranoia, selected paranoia. Other people call it paranoia. You select it. Let me choose some of that. Give me a slice of paranoia. Give me a whole bag full. You select it. And you use it the way you want to use it. What does that mean? That means you're taking over your life. Hey, man, you don't leave your life in the hands of a crackpot, idiot, the American government. Okay? Use pain to focus, function. Self-pain monitoring. Pain in order to use pain properly. It's good. That means it's good for you to experience pain. So you learn how to use pain properly. I don't want to hurt. Well, that's too bad for you. Hurt is good for you when you learn from hurt, right? You learn how to channel it. You learn how to use it. I don't want that. You ain't going to get nowhere either, probably. Strategic laboratory of pain. That's what we call it. A strategic laboratory of pain, of bigger powers interfering with your life and slowing down you getting to your goal. Just like they test rats and what have you. His goal is to get over there, right? And then they do this to influence. Pretty soon they get frustrated. But you're a human being. You know what they're doing. Strategic laboratory of pain and denial, denying your ability to reach your goal. That's all training, and that's deep training. It's self-training. You can include it into how you deal with the system, but you have to be managing yourself on purpose. You have to experience pain. You have to set up yourself. And it's not pain like it hurts, but pain, the denial of you being able to accomplish a goal on time, in time. Right? You have to place yourself in those situations. That's how you're going to grow. That's definitely growth. Strategic laboratory of pain. Study pain. Embrace pain. This is an era, and that was an era, of extreme discipline. Focus. Same war, different battles. What to expect? And remember, we've studied it before. How to anticipate. What is anticipation? Pre-planning, anticipating this is going to happen. The longer you do it, the better you're going to get. I put all of these actions and feelings and environmental circumstances that are happening, and I come up with some hope, a dream, or aspiration. And what you discover, the longer you do that, the more accurate you become, right? Pain is healthy. Not that you're going to sit there and holler all night, oh, it hurt. Like Negro pain. I don't mean Negro pain. I mean something different. Maintain an attitude of optimism. Study to see how far they say I have come. This is personal now. This is the reason for writing folder for writing. It's the reason for making these folders for writing. Because you want to study with optimism, you want to study to see how far they, the system, think you have come. You can't leave yourself out. Everybody's involved, but there's the biggest development going to come from your own public, personal execution of reality. Sabiqun liberation movement. Our next phase. We're going to that now. Explain past history up to now. Pass out, go and tell us some. No llores por mí, Oakland. There's a song, a long time. No llores por mí, Argentina. I don't know if anybody remember that. The song, I'd hate to say it, the little white girls sang. What was her name? Madonna sang that. Don't cry for me, Argentina. And that's what you mean. No llores por mí, Oakland. Don't cry for me. Don't cry for the brother. It looks terrible. If you look at it, the niggas assaulted, the niggas, they pretend to take your property, they tie up everything. It may be a trap. You may have trapped them into doing that by anticipating what they want or what they're going to try to do with you. They're going to try to scare you off your own property. And then they're going to have everybody on their team. Nobody's on your team. In Oakland, what do? We didn't sit money out there, pay the tax, $50,000. Remember that? Well, 48,000. What the heck, right? Now, the taxes are even more for the same property. But we're not going to pay them. But we got other. We got other taxes that are huge taxes. They ain't huge. It's just like if you don't have a job, they're huge. Like personal taxes. 20,000 I just call out there. What's the tax bill? There's 20,000 something. Good. We'll go out. We'll take care of it. Do we have the money? No, but we're going to get the money. Why? Because we're going to do what we need to do to get it. No big deal. Why? We've done it before over and over again. This is not a new session or a new trail. We've been here before, over and over and over and over again, right? And not only will we get the tax money, because the whole idea was to destroy all of this. See, we're rolling this kind of nice. So the 10 years we had the school here, we spent over $500,000 on the school. But we sold books, we did this, we did that. Plenty of money coming in. Okay. The way they think, that if they slow your money down, if they do this, if they do that, then this is going to affect you. No, it's not. It ain't going to work like that. Don't work like that. You just hook up more. And that's starting right now, today, next week, tomorrow. In other words, what I'm talking about now, we're already into that. I'll talk later about evolution and when this began, East Oakland Enterprises, what that stood for, and that evolution. This is the time for comprehensive solutions to social, psychological, economic, and a time for spiritual evolution. So what if, let's say, Siraj and them is doing something else? So what if Mellow Yellow and them is doing something else? Technically, we don't care what they do. I'm saying we don't care. They don't have to like us. They don't have to help us. Just because we helped them when certain things was happening, maybe they didn't want our help. It's okay. But we have our course charted. And with Allah's help, we're going to complete our course. Now, where we land, technically it makes a difference, and technically it don't. Why? We're supposed to do our job as best we can and see as clear as we can and implement as well as we can. Exactly how it come out, that's up to Allah. But we're living in a great time and we know it. What I mean is, people that are doing anything close to what we're doing are getting killed and starving to death. I.e., Lebanon. They have the big, on the docks, right? And it blew up. They didn't say Israelis did it, but we know that's who did it. Iran is doing a marvelous job. That don't mean they're doing as good as they could be, but they ain't doing too bad. Right? And the people had enough sense to manipulate the bootlickers out, right? So they couldn't get nobody no worse than the people they had, right? Because no matter how much you whip those guys and slap them upside the head, here they come back, boss. Boss, why you don't whip me like that? Boss, fix this before they had an election so we can get somebody in there, right? What boss man do? We'll do this 2 weeks after the election, next, right? Stabbing his friends that love him. And old Taliban, they've been hating boss man all the time. And it seemed like Taliban made a deal with boss man to get rid of the Afghan government, because the Afghan government's been, they done just lost that, whatever they was doing, right? And boss man worked it out in front of them, in front of everybody. I'm going to stab you. Oh, you guys love me? Well, you'll know. I bet you try next time, see what happens. Right? Just cut their throat, slash their throat from side to side in front of everybody. Just right now, they're doing it. Taliban already got 1/3 of Afghanistan and it'll have another half. That's enough. Right? It ain't fired a shot. I mean, 1 or 2 little skirmishes. Most of everybody pack up or go join them or bring their weapons. And the boss man want to arm them, so he leave his arm. Oh, I'm going to leave some arms here. You get all of them. Hey, you'll be bad as you want to be. Right? Right in front of everybody. And people call us paranoid and oversensitive. If they can't see that, I'm not going to use the word stupid and dumb, stuff like that. We're not going for it, right? And the coons here, they do the coons the same way. And the, whatever they call themselves. And the cares and everybody. One of the main source of information we're following is the Quran. And you notice the names of characteristics of peoples, Munafiq, Zalimin, right? Munafiq, all those names. And all those names draw a picture of a human characteristic. And this is what they do. Nifaq, Munafiq, Nifaq is a ditch or a hole with 2 open ends. Right. Two-faced. It's simple as that. Right? Okay. One of the reasons I put this no llores por mi Oakland is because I'm not going over that stuff over and over again. If they don't see it, that's too bad. We done already drove through that. You don't see it, too bad for you. I love you. I like you. I'll help you. But I'm not going to sit at the ditch and cry with you over something. The boss man. All of our people that boss man set them up so bad, and so he do them worse than Taliban. They done confiscated this, confiscated that. Then they got, I show you a picture, you ever see it, with Mukhtar right there, the police is taking me out of the masjid, and all kind of stuff. Don't need to go through it. Over and over and over again. And he has no idea. Khadijah has no idea. Abdul Malik them have no idea. Hashim Alauddin them have no idea what the government is coming to me with. They just don't have no idea. They must be like Ferdinand Marcos with Reagan. Mr. President, I just need my hands is tied. I said, boy, that's cold. Ferdinand Marcos, biggest dude, and his wife had 3,000 pair of shoes. That's pitiful. Mr. President, right? Well, I can't do nothing for you. My hands is tied. Yeah, your hands is tied. It's tied a few months before that over there in the Iran-Contra, right? I don't have nothing to do with terrorists, Iran-Contra, Hafen Fusnim, and all them old people, right? Arms, and what they call it, the October surprise. They got to read about the October surprise. They got to read why in Iran they executed and house arrest the first few people. Yeah. And why Rafsanjani come out running when the secretary, what was that secretary? McFarlane. I don't know if y'all remember. He went over to Iran. He took a cake and he took 2 pistols, 2 Colt 45s. Anybody remember that? Look up Reagan Colt 45 pistols and cake during the raising. McFarlane, yeah, just push up McFarlane. McFarlane, cake for the Iranians, and Colt 45 pistols. Anyway, that was his secretary. All he did, what he do? Boop. Okay, let me speed up here a little bit. Sabiqun Liberation Movement. Our next phase, explain past history up to now. Pass our COINTEL, no Yodas, okay. East Oakland Enterprises, we passed that. We'll talk about that at another time. This is a time for comprehensive solutions. Social, psychological, economic, spiritual, okay. The climate of insanity. That's what we have now. Did anybody find anything?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Yeah, it's got that he took a kick at a Bible that ran with
Code 45 pistols?
I didn't see any pistols, but I do see Rafsanjani's name.
Of course it's Rafsanjani's name. Of course.
This was a declassified statement from a former CIA officer that basically made this information public at a Senate hearing.
Let me explain something. I used to love Rafsanjani, read all, he'd give khutbahs every week almost and everything. When McFarlane got there, he started, I said, that man is the one that did it. He's the one invited. Why? Imagine if the Secretary of State right now jumped on a plane and went to Iran. Everybody said, wait a minute, what's going on? But imagine then, that's during the Iran-Iraq war. He go over there, he takes some cake, and the Imam said, well, something about the pistols he brought. He said the boys ate the cake. In other words, the guards, they was hungry, and they looked at the cake. And I know they was just deliberating whether it was poison. So they agreed, we'd just eat it and see if it's poison. But anyway, so with all of that history, how much more history do you need from these crackpots? I'm going to pass up. I'm not going to do tafweed and Rida. Rida is to be happy with what you get, and tafweed is a special type of declaration, wafida. Artificial intelligence, the place over there, Imam Tufail Abdullah, Strategic Command Center. No house, no nothing. You say, well, we need money. Look, when you start planning for big, you go for big. You just go for big. Allah will help you. 500 miles per gallon Negro. That's me. 500 miles per gallon Negro. That's not me. I'm just joking. Low carbon Negro. Right. Those are things that type of personality. You need a 500 mile per gallon Negro to do some of the things that we've been talking about. The re-engineered Negro. Global Negro. One size fits all. You get the Negro in pill form, gel form, lotion, any kind of way we'll take it. Okay. I'm not going to talk about Old Master, but the Old Master is the guy in martial arts. The young guy jump up and down and all kind of and the Old Master, when you throw a punch at him, he don't jump all the way over there. All he do is here come the punch. Just move a quarter inch. All he wants you to do is, he ain't got time to be jumping up and down, right? He done measured you off and check the speed. What are you getting?
I'm saying I just read a November report from Iranian news agency said airport workers gobbled up the cake after the father's plane landed. But I'm not seeing anything yet on 45.
Well, it was two code for he's on yours. Did it say pistols?
It did. It just had the
Bible. It had two code 45s and the Bible, the poison book, and what else? The cake. The airport workers. Well, Imam said the boys ate it. You know, that whoever was in charge of the cake, they was looking at it. And they said, well, technically they was testing it to see if it was poison. Just like you and I would test some of the stuff we test, let's see how it go down. If it don't kill us, it's got to be all right. And that's what they did with the cakes. But anyway, strategic patience, strategic counteroffensive, that's especially in Oakland. Psychodiscombobulation. We all know what discombobulation is. You have to have confidence in yourself that you can box with boss man, that's all. And boss man, I tell you what, he like George Foreman when he fought Muhammad Ali. When he knocked out Frazier, that was in the first or second round, something like that, right? In 72. He didn't, okay, the point is this. If you're a knockout artist like America, they're not used to going the distance. They knock niggas out. Everybody we see, they knock boss man, the wind go by, the niggas fall out. Or they throw a cutie pie on him or something, but he fall out. Boss man not used to going the limit. That's what's happened with us. He ain't used to nobody carrying him all this time. They thought, well, we'll fold up years ago. Well, we act like we're going to fold, then we unfold, then we play. We said that, I thought the nigga was going to surrender. No, boss man, you got it wrong. I don't do that. He's discombobulated. His behavior. You look at the behavior of Oakland. Is their behavior not only standard, but is it sane? It's not. It's insanity. They done did stuff that are beyond. We don't even have to talk about it. It is beyond the pale. Right? It's not sanity. It's insanity. And the only reason they do it is because everybody is on their team. And everybody's not going to be on their team. When we drag them through court, we don't have to drag them through court. We don't have to even win our case. We don't have to do none of all that stuff. We're going to do it, but we don't have to do that. We're depending on what we got right now. Right now. Not what we're going to get, right? We're going to hope for that. We're going to try that. But we got a plan for what we got in our hand right now. And we feel very confident. Look, this is not bragging. Whatever we have done, we have discombobulated Boss Man and with his whole crew. Just who is its crew? All of the Shias, all of the Sunnis, all of the Saudis, all of the Negroes, all of that, everybody. Right? Generally. All of them out there by the airport, everybody here is with him, right? Everybody here is with Boss Man. I don't care who you name. Nobody's coming over here. They're not coming here. They ain't coming. They're just not coming. That's fine. Evidently, we don't need them because we're still here. And when you struggle against a system and you have some small gains from time to time, it builds up your confidence. But suppose you gain, and to everybody else it looks like a defeat, but you're slapping Boss Man upside the head all the time. I mean, really just slapping him. Didn't I tell you, Boss Man, to get over there and sit down and shut up? Right? That's the way we act, and that's the way they do. That's the way they do. There's nothing else they can do about it. It's too late to shoot a nigga in the head, or a nigga fall down the stairs and break his neck. That would have been fine a long time ago. Right? They can't say they found so much dope in the house and so there's still a dope dealer. It ain't going to work. See? That's why you carry Boss Man a long time. You carry him. You let him hold on the ropes. You let him do all that stuff. Right? So you carry him out so many rounds that everybody can already see. You technically can't lose. Here's why you can't lose. You can't lose. Number one, you done took everybody to the championship rounds. You're in round 26 now. I say 26 because that's when Jack Johnson took a dive and was holding his hand up. Remember, if you're knocked out, you're not going to hold your hand up to block the sun, right? We're not going to do that. We're not taking no dive. That was good for him in those days. This is 1910. Well, 1915. Okay, let me speed up here. Strategic counterfeit. Psychodiscombobulation. It's like white man on the line. You know, we talked about it when you go fishing. You know, when you feel them nibbling, right? Then you pull it, what happens? You snag them. If you don't snag them, just wait, they'll start nibbling again. And then you wait, whoosh. And then when you see that pole going and going here and there, white man on the line. White man is on the line right now. White man is on the line and so is everybody else. Hashim Alauddin that sent Malcolm's grandson down to Mexico to get killed. right? And here you go somewhere, you'll see him talking black. Black, 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 black. We had a meeting at our masjid because all the little black girls at UC Berkeley was coming to Imam Musa, me. Imam Musa, because Hashim was a nice looking guy, then he was part of the curly headed crew. You think you could hook me up with married? I said, well, we'll see. This is on the thing. Everybody was there. The sisters and the brothers had a meeting with Hashim. Hashim said, you cannot melt a black woman and pour on me. And that's what the nigga said. Ask him. Ask Jamila Ali and anybody else. They was there. You can ask Sister Bahia. She's right down there. Ask her. Black, 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 black. That's why I said I can't stand no more. When I was at the school down in Houston, I'd come to class. So I had 3 little girls in the fan club, and they used to put me up on everything. So they said, Imam Musa, not only he tell us not to pay attention to our parents, but they filled me in on everything else that he was telling them. And he was always, you talking about Black August, man, you would think he was Mr. Black. He teaching a class on black history, George Jackson, dead, but and I sat in there, I said, he'd already been out there and said you couldn't melt. He said you couldn't melt in English. You cannot melt a black woman. Them cutie pies, I said, well, you just refer all them cutie pies that you turning down, just send them on by. You know, I cook up 4, I'm just joking. No, I'm just joking because I didn't want to get married because it's too much work. I was busy at that time. That's why I didn't get married, because I was busy. You owe people time and energy and stuff. And we got to sit up and roll eyes at each other at least sometime. I got the Quran, the Hadith, I got, sister, I'm sorry, I ain't got no time. And the white man is out there, the Negroes is over there, this is going on. I just can't think about that stuff. That's what happened. That's why I was a celibate for 15 years out there. And them niggas couldn't stand. They, look, 15 years of celibacy, they ain't never even thought about that, nothing like that. That's why being an eligible bachelor, Pakistanis, Iranians, everybody trying to get married. Okay. I'm just telling you what I heard. You cannot melt. Call, what's the name's wife? The sisters. And you could ask Bahia down there. You cannot melt a black woman. And he proved it too. When he married Iranian women, he married the lighter type, the lighter Iranians, not the more dark-haired, black-eyed. Shoot, he got to have him a hazel-eyed. He's serious about it. He didn't. Oh, I don't do that. Or black Iranian, might as well marry a nigga. I'm not saying he didn't say that. But all of them people, they got a fan club out there. Do you think that we care about their fan club because it's the white man's fan club? Keep them. That's part of the struggle. Keep them. You got them? Keep them. Let me speed up. Attracted money, strategic patience stopper, strategic counterfeit, white man on the line. Helicopters over the house, I keep on going. That's when the helicopters used to fly right over the house. Would be like 20 feet over the house. The whole house is shaking. Makes you a little, that used to work. Boss man, you'd be paranoid then. Boss man shaking your house. That's 50-something years ago, though. That stuff ain't gonna work now. Boss man on a suicide mission. Boss man is determined to wipe the earth out. He ain't leaving a stone unturned. He's going to get rid of all the ozone. He's going to get rid of all that. He ain't going to leave nothing. He demands the opportunity to kill every living thing on earth. He's not going to be satisfied till he do. And then maybe he'll leave behind some artificial intelligence because they don't have to breathe. And they can maybe they'll fix up something for themselves. That they can enjoy it. And after 1,000,000 years, 100,000, after 2,500 years, it'll be back again nice. Then they can resurrect a couple of humans, call it the Garden of Eden or something. Okay, one last go round. This time around, combat high tech with low tech. We'll get into that later. We mentioned black colleges. That's still on the list. You're going to figure out how you're going to go to black colleges, how you're going to do all of that. What is it? Black colleges, homelessness, institution building, fundraising. Man, that's a lot of stuff. It would have been a lot of stuff, but it's not enough stuff now. There's not a lot of stuff. It's just normal. See, we didn't have, man, we've been resting for years, just kicking back, taking it. We've been resting. Other people may not consider it resting. That's what we consider resting. Not only resting, but resting your thought process is resting, the ability to let stuff watch stuff from way down there and watch it come closer and closer and watch it. All right. Develop language for this period of struggle. Describe, attack, counteroffense, nature of offenses, purpose of offense, strategic response. Name it and claim it. In other words, that's what we're doing now. We did it before. We already did this same thing before, but that was a different time. We called that different. That was an air war and stuff like that. You remember that? Air war. Okay. Method of wearing me up, not wearing me down. That's big. Let me say it again. Maybe it went past you. You didn't miss it. They try to wear you out, right? They try to wear you down. For me, they wear me up. They get a nigga juiced up. It's too late. That's the way I'm talking is the way I feel. And it ain't nothing to do about it. It takes years to change, you know what I mean, of encounters. And you don't know when the transition is coming because it might get better and better and up and up and up. We'll try to psychodiscombobulating trap. Imam Musa trap. Imam Musa trap is redundancy. Redundancy. Over and over and over and over again. Over and over and over. Redundancy. Yeah. Boy, I'm telling you. You do it so much that you put boss man to sleep. This nigga don't know nothing. Let's go get some coffee and donuts and let's do this. It's going to do the same thing. Right? As soon as you do that, you wait a while, keep it redundancy. Then you do what you want. And he don't see you. Then you try to make up something. Well, couldn't have did nothing. Somebody else did it. Did you see what happened? He couldn't. Wait a minute. Hold it. What are you talking about? I was there. Was you there all the time? Was you sitting at the monitor? Was you driving in the car? No. make boss man bored. You got to study your opponents. Who's watching you? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? By how they're acting. Like I told my son some years ago. I say at a time you can tell what's going on behind the wall or by what's going on in front of it. What they do in front of you. You can redundicize boss man so much. We did it in Jahiliyyah. We could do it now. Till he talks in front of you about well, this guy doesn't know that. He's not. That's what they used to do in Colombia. This nigga's stupid. And they're talking about you, right? You're there, right there. Right? And then they look up and they be shocked. They be shocked. Especially white folks. Niggas be shocked too, Negroes. Okay, human resource management, justifiable fix, self-reliance, psychozoic age, we'll get into that later. Psychozoic age, it sounds really suspenseful. I study my encirclers. I hope for them, well, we hope for them good stuff. Humanism with Islamic Negro, with American Negro hero characteristics. That's really something. As soon as I figure out what I wrote down, I'll tell you what it was. From homelessness, discardedness, rejection, and low and non-existent expectations. How to solve plantational life's problem solution for our world. Project management, transgenerational habits. This is very good. Like my family, they tell boss man, like definitely my ex-wife used to tell boss man, he has a short temper, you know what I mean? Short temper, and he, all she can remember is 6-month period during Jahiliyyah. When I'm big so-and-so and I'm in my early 20s and I'm growing real big and you get all this stuff, you know what I mean? You get short-tempered a while, so little stuff like that. That's what she remembered forever. No matter what happened, even now, I said, no, I don't do that no more. And my son, when I whooped them Negroes at the Masjid, he remembered the same thing. He'll whoop your behind. That's what they told Mukhtar and them. He's short-tempered. You talk to him bad, he wants to be respected. Right? He's going to respond. They talk, y'all see how crazy they talk about anything. It don't have no effect at all because we set these idiots up for that. We know who told them that stuff. And we know that they were so far behind that they left out 40 years. My son told him what he thought when he had a fight with a guy, maybe he was 14 or 15. That was 82. Couldn't have been no farther than 83. And that's what I'm telling him. My son's having a fight. Spread your legs out on that nigga. You know what I mean? I couldn't help. He did a good job. He know what he's doing. And that's what they told him for now. Today, that's what I'm going to do. So if you do this, so you know who told them by what they do. You could tell what's going on in the back room by what's happening in the front room. Yeah. And you can't tell them that. They think they slick. Anyway, we'll speed up. Transgenerational habits. We'll go over that another time. If we can do this inside of America, you could do it from outside of America. Cars-based areas, we'll have it. Windows at the back. Okay, that's great. Boss man, the Zionists are trapped in the headlights or frozen in the headlights of history. You know the animal out on the highway? They look at them headlights and they get froze. This white man. But he's frozen. History is frozen. The headlights is so bright, he can't see around him. He can't see what's in back. He can't see. That's what we're doing to him. He ain't doing nothing to us. And we know what we're doing to him. When I say him, I mean the system. The system is domesticated. Nobody has to believe it, but I'm telling you what it is. You can believe it or not. No, excuse me. I'm not telling you. I'm explaining, what's happening. That's all I can do. Okay. Now, let me wrap up by, we said Moses, with our signs and the command, bring out the people from the depths of darkness into the light and teach them to remember the days of Allah. Verily, in this there are signs for such as are firmly patient, constant, grateful, and appreciative. These are some deep words. Thankfulness, gratefulness, and appreciative. What else are you going to be? They're killing people by the boatloads in Yemen. Wedding parties. And the world it's okay. They're just Yemenis, right? The people killing them is Saudis. If they had the money to have other people to kill them, it's okay. No big deal. They're Yemenis anyway. Right? That's what's happening right now. It's really happening. Okay? That's not happening to us. We're right here inside of the U.S. And if we were to disappear tomorrow, we've out-survived anybody else by a factor of 10 or 5. We are 76 years old. Our movement in this stage, if we say 1980, that means it's a long time. Several phases. We're thankful to Allah for that. We're thankful for the opportunity. That's why we're not going to give up on people like Imam Jamil or none of them. We're not going to do like them other niggas. Them niggas, they actually, hey man, well, they did whatever they did. I wouldn't do it. And they don't have to do it either. Remember, your Lord calls to be declared publicly. If you are grateful, I will add more favors unto you. But if you show ingratitude, truly my punishment is terrible indeed. If we're ungrateful, well, you gotta pay more taxes than your permit. Oh, shoot. Nobody else even has any. Can you imagine Salafi sitting over there with 100,000 people in their buildings and they're not doing nothing? Can you imagine? Who would want to do that? Who would want to be out there in Virginia at the biggest centers in this region and scared and nervous? The leaders out there when that old line congressman came, and he so in awe of the congressman, he was switching Prophet Muhammad for Allah and back, and he was missing it. I said, this sucker is a fool to be doing that. And ain't nobody, ain't no big deal. But we're wrong. You got to remember. If there's anybody wrong in the building, it's them Negroes over there. They've been wrong in history, and they're going to be wrong again. They can't do nothing right. And Moses said, if you show ingratitude, you and all on earth together, yet is Allah free of all wants, worthy of all praise. That's the key. Free of all worry. Ingratitude is not possible. Well, it's possible. But we are not showing ingratitude. We are thankful to Allah for everything and anything, just to be here. You know what I mean? Just to be here. And a lot of people, whether it's King, Malcolm, everybody else, all our brothers, they didn't even have a chance to do this. Now just imagine we have a chance. We've already done decades of stuff, right? And we did it the way we wanted to do it, the way we thought was best. What do we care about what, let's say, they say? They don't have nothing to do with nothing. They're not doing nothing. They haven't done nothing. And looks like, unless they get boss man off their back, they can't do nothing. Are there any questions, any comments? Didn't mean to talk so much. Any questions, any comments? By the way, we're going to upgrade all of this stuff right here. We're not going to just sit back and, we're going to get around and little different stuff. Because here's the thing. I got the number from Oakland last night. The taxes out there just for the certain property is over $20,000. Plus, by the time the next tax roll around here, it'll be another $10,000. So we got to knock that over. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about a thing. We're gonna knock it over. We're gonna knock it over because we believe we will, and we've never not done it. We don't know where it's gonna come from, but we're gonna get busy. Within a few days, we'll be getting around. We'll be doing all of this stuff, putting that together. And Happy Days is here again. Yeah. Any questions, any comments? Does any of this make sense at all? Alhamdulillah. We forgot, don't forget now, we're going to get around and it's a comprehensive recovery we're going to do with Allah's help. Don't get out.
So tell me about your process. I know back in Jahiliyyah, you might have been classified as someone very materialistic. What was your process of learning how to let go?
No, when I got back, I was definitely not materialistic. By the time,
How was your evolution?
Yeah, how was your process?
okay, yeah. Well, the process, your identity is tied. I used to carry a couple of pictures with me that showed my big cars, and I would tell, I'm still in my 20s, I'd tell the people in Bolivia or wherever, you just looking at a nigga, but this is what I really am. See that car? See that? I was moving away from that by then. But by the time I left South America, I was sleeping on the floor all the time I was down there because for some reason I liked it. I had not lost, but I had set aside all of that material. I mean, we was having big money. I still slept on the floor. I didn't have but a few things in a bag, and I had outgrown that. I meant to show y'all this again. I just was showing you this to show you how Negroes. This is terrible. Look how the color on the God. Oh, that nigga belong in jail. If anybody tried to tell the truth, if he tried to pass this, look at the color. And he gave it to me. I just wanted to show y'all this so that you will. There's a lesson. Do not hold the Negro responsible for being a Negro. You just lose. You can't do it. I don't know. I'm not making excuses for him. You can't just, I got to give him some kind of break. Because the nigga that did this slept in here for the last 10, many of them, right? Did all that snoring and hollering and everything. Snoring and eating. Snoring and eating. And then left us, hey man, if you wanted like respect and honor, you would be mad about this. He didn't have to do it because he didn't know. When he gave this to me, first I said, man, I gave it back to him. I said, no, man, you got to get that. He handed me another one. I snatched it. I tore it. It was worse than this one. I said, give me that back. So I just told him, give it back. No, you keep whatever I gave him, $70 for change. He's going to give you. You keep it. No, keep it. He didn't show up here no more. The next day, he didn't show up no more. You have to be prepared for that. I just brought this just for the joke. You have to be prepared for that no matter what you do with other people, for each other, for other people. If they cut your throat, so what? They just cut your throat. That's okay.
We have attachment to things, but then we also have attachment to people.
Right.
About that process, how you work on yourself there. You learn how to let people go and move to different stages in your own life.
Yeah, no, that's true. At first, one of the reasons I started East Oakland Enterprises type thing so everybody could get money is because I was the only one had money and all of my friends had to go to work. So I didn't want them to have to go to work, although they had what would be considered now good, middle class jobs. So that's why I did what I did. So I became big. I was already big, but I got bigger and I helped all them. If you're a boxer, hey, you can manage boxing, you can do this, that, and other. They didn't know how. But you got to remember, they was young. So the process of letting go, yeah, it takes a while because you don't let go of everything all at once. You hold on to a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you let go. It seems to me there's a process of letting go the biggest things probably first, and then you look up and then you practice zuhud. Zuhud is a detachment. That's really, when I say detachment, that means detachment to what people think, reality, and you be focused on a certain reality, and that's it. I'll just do a lesson on that process because it's not an overnight process. It's a long process. And when you get there, or as you get there, you feel better and better and better. And now I'm saying for myself, I feel very good, very good. I could say all the time, but most of the time. And a lot of time it has to do also with the environment. 2 months ago, we're in perfect harmony with our environment and, contemplation and, peace and sabr and all of those things. Right now, it's a little different. Right now, it's peace, tranquility, but there's an aura of urgency. If you go back a few months back or even recently, we're in a total period of acceptance and, just, hey, Allah's taking care of everything because there's peace, there's tranquility, and there's contentment. Okay, so now it's still contentment, it's still all of that, but there's an aura of urgency. I mean by that is a few months back we were saying, well, 25 years, you could think maybe the world might be here in 25 years. But in the last couple of months, you can't make those predictions anymore. Or, 25 years from now, at this rate, brother. So that's what I mean is, it's contentment, but it's with an aura of urgency, not panic, but an aura of contentment with a sense of urgency that we got to, and that's good. That's especially good for us because remember, before we never had time limits on our goals and everything. When white folks say you should always have time, we didn't do time limits because we just, alhamdulillah. Yeah. Future shock? Right.
What you're talking about is kind of in the first chapter where he talks about adapting to the changing time,
Right.
acceleration of time.
Acceleration time, yeah.
That's and he kind of ends the first chapter with, psychologically, before you go into anything else, you got to know how to manage that.
Right.
Time, transit, is important. So that's what
No. Time, place, everything. Space is smaller. 24-hour news cycle. Bangladesh is right around the corner. Palestine is right up the street. China is, it feels like it's right over there, the next town over. That's the way all of it feels. The world feels right. You don't feel like, even in the early days, it used to take us a week to get the newspapers from Iran. So in that week waiting for the newspapers to come here, we had to ad-lib. And we was right most 95% of the time. But still, you don't have to do that now. You just press a button and there it comes. Okay. Now, without trying to mention all the processes right now, I am satisfied and happy with the results of what we're getting. Our assertions and our expectations is right on the money. Continuously, without arrogance floating in, and destroying it. Gratefulness, thankfulness. Hey, this is it's great that what killed everybody else makes you feel good. This stuff kills people. It destroys people's will to carry on. Because you don't have I'm not going to do that 80,000 times over and over again. Why? Right? This stuff gives you that, you don't put no numbers like that on it. So anyway, we'll be able to deal with the kind of exact processes over a period of time. But there's been times before when this has happened, but it's, how will I explain it? I used to go walking in the hills in Columbia every morning, and I'd walk up. This is where there's a city down here, and then up there, and then they had little streams, and they had trout. You could see trout, and the water is no deeper than this, you know. And I got so in tune with them that at first, when I would come up, they would zoop away, and after a while, I could come up and just stand there and look at them. And they was used to me. And for me, psychologically and internally, that was good. Although I was experiencing the stuff with the white man, I wasn't nowhere then where I am now. You know what I mean? It was, yeah, it takes a while, but it sure is nice. So we'll get into, are there any more,
There was nothing that came in.
are people watching this stuff or are they not?
Yeah, surprisingly, we had a large number of views just show up. The number jumped up to like 49 live viewers. I've never seen that before. Today. I have no idea why. Just
No, that's good. That's good. That's fine.
the most random thing. And then it's kind of petered on down. It was still hovering at about 18 viewers. And at 4 about now.
Well, it could be the discussion talking about, don't worry, y'all, hold on. We're going to be back to what the Negro ought to do about going and getting a job with the white man. I know that's interesting.
Maybe that's it.
No, it's interesting. It's hey.
Days of the Law.
Yeah, Ayom Allah. See, is that still on? No. This is important. Look, what we've just eased into is what everybody was going to do anyway. 98% of them was going to do that. They're going to get a government job. But we're giving them an okay and a reason, an ethical reason to do, right? That's important. And it's something that they hadn't thought of while they was at the university. I could imagine as we get around and talk to people, we're going to try to get it very down pat where we can make it all right for them. That this is an honorable thing to do. It's a good thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And they're going to pay for it. If you halfway through college, go join the police department anyway and still go to college, right? You can do that, right? And they're going to pass all the tests. So you've got to remember, the Negroes are smarter than them dumb white folks killers already. Those are meatballs. I mean, like really duds. You know what I mean? They don't have I mean, you seen dumb white people. That's good. I mean, dumb white people. I mean, those kind of Ku Klux Klan type. They are dumb Mississippians. And Negroes are more intelligent. Our Negroes. I mean, they're more intelligent. They're more intelligent for what they're talking about. And if white folks are leaving these departments, great. Hurry up and get in there. Don't give them a chance to think about it, right? Fill it up. This is so important, it's unbelievable. I don't know how the dummies, I knew you was a police. I said, you niggas are so stupid. I ain't going to even call you stupid. I take it back. Forget it. You're not stupid. You're not something. Something's wrong, but it ain't that. You're not. It'll take you 100 years to become stupid. That's how far out you are. I'm just joking with him, but I was just telling him. It'll take you 10 years of hard study to become stupid. Discipline, getting up early in the morning, reading and writing and taking notes. It'll take you that long to become stupid, But look at what we're saying. We're saying that the world is not changing. They're killing you every day. They're killing, hey man, they ain't even thinking about slowing down. So we got to get in there and get in there big. Get in there big. You know what I mean? Big and good. And then the numbers, you know how everybody knows racism in all these institutions. When the numbers get to stack up to Negroes, if you notice in any pictures, you've never seen no Negro officers. The Negro officers in Oakland, the ones that I know that were really, well, they don't seem to think that I know that they the police, but they are undercover. At every black rally, they used to be in some of the groups. Hey man, we're proud of you. That's what they say. The police, they're polices. We're proud of you because they ain't never seen no nigga that, they're there monitoring a black rally and they knew you. They was around you. They hung out, you know what I mean, with you. And they polices and they saying, they've been saying it. Hey man, we're proud of you. That means, but then imagine now that we come to something that they can accept even more, because there's no harm in this. We're going to be good police and we're going to stick to the Constitution. Yeah. The Constitution gives you right to lie, right? That's fine for now. For what we get now, the Constitution is just fine, right? What I mean is you have certain rights. If we had those rights guaranteed in the Constitution, it would be bearable to live here in the U.S., right? If you actually I'm not talking about what we get, I'm talking about if you got those rights. Fine. Okay? That's where we're coming from. Any more questions or comments? Okay? Okay, alhamdulillah.